Hello, guys. So, welcome to this, Oracle Identity Manager installation series. As you all know, we have been discussing about the installation of Oracle Identity Federation and Oracle Identity Internet Directory, which is again part of the Oracle Identity Manager suite. Okay, so we have so far seen the database installation, and in the previous video, we quickly validated uh, whether the listener is up and running and the version of the database using the $v version command after we connected to the SQL prompt of Oracle database, right? And then today in this video, we are going to be primarily talking about how to create and load the schemas, which is very much required for installing the Oracle Identity Manager product. Okay, so we are going to be using an utility called RCU, which stands for the Repository Creation Utility. Okay, I hope you're all able to see my screen. So here in my E drive folder, I've already copied the folder, the software for all these products here. And this is RCU is one such for software, right? So here I'm just quickly navigating to this particular path here. Okay. So after you unzip this folder, you get it something like this. You have a folder called RCU home, and within that you have a bin folder, and you just have to navigate to this and then just give rcu.bat. After you do this, you get a window here, the wizard that pops up. Okay, so this is the welcome screen. There's nothing much to talk about here, and you just click on next because as I mentioned, we are going to be using this mainly to create as well as the drop the schemas, right? So first we are going to be creating those schemas. Okay, so and this is the database type. Okay, I'm just leaving it as Oracle database. Host name, I'm just giving it like local host here. Okay, because I'm going to primarily be using this same local host for configuring the other products here. And the service name and port, I give it here, okay, 1521 on RCL. Username, I just give sys, and the password is same as the one that we used it at the time of installing and configuring the database. Okay, so let's see whether it connects. If it is not running fine, then you'll get some prompt like message saying like this is not working, something of that sort message. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly check whether the listener is up and running. Okay, it says it's ready, so it looks like the listener is running correctly. So I just click here. Now it will run the prerequisites checks, so it shouldn't take much time unless we have stuck with something very mandatory step, unless we don't meet any specific prerequisites. So it is done. So here, as we know, like this page or the screen primarily, you'll be giving a prefix for all the the schema tables, right? So here it says like create a new prefix by default. So I just leave it as it is. And here you're going to just be focusing only on this identity manager product, Oracle Identity Federation. The default schema owner is ODS. And I'm going to just select Oracle Identity Federation. So as soon as you select, it will just add the prefix there before that. And if you want to select Oracle Identity Manager, it can just give as it is, as they are. Like I'm not going to, include anything here. So I'm just okay. So I'm just unselecting Oracle Identity Manager. Okay, so let me go back and then quickly come back again here. Okay, so I'm not going to include anything here. See, it says require metadata services schema. Okay, only if you're going to be using any of these like business intelligence platform, SOA infrastructure, or the user messaging service, only then it would need. Otherwise, I think we can, ignore. Right? All right. So let's go further down. Yeah. So here it says one of the important prerequisites is there is something called the open cursor parameter here. the current value, it shows 300. Okay, it should be greater than or equal to 500. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly run this command here. Okay, so show parameter open underscore cursors. So it shows 300 here, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fire one command. Okay, this command is very specific. I mean, common for both process, or I would say like this command is very similar to both process as well as open cursors. Okay, so I'm just going to give the command like alter system set, and then I'm going to give something like open underscore cursors. Okay, so it says it should be greater than or equal to 500. So I'm just going to give 500 here. Okay, and after this we may have to be literally restarting the database, but let's see whether it runs without doing that, whether it works without doing that. So I just give system altered, and then after that I just give commit. Okay, I'm saving these commands here. I'll probably try to share these commands probably in the description box. Okay, you can take a look. So I'm just going to probably ignore. Okay, so let me go back here, and okay, because we have not restarted the database, right? So what we can do is, uh, yeah, ideally it should, yeah, so it says operation failed, right? So yeah, the problem is we have to actually be, running, and so let me just see whether show parameter open underscore cursors. There is open underscore CURSORS. There is a spelling mistake here, typo here. Show parameter open cursors. Yeah, it still shows 300 because I think we have not actually, uh, yeah, it should be greater than or equal to, the command like 500 should be greater than or equal to 500. So what I do is, I think we have to definitely, uh, shut down the database and then give a quick restart. So I will just do that right away. Okay, I'm shutting down the database. Probably I'll just pause the video here. Okay, let it because it's just taking some time. So I'll just probably pause the recording. All right, guys. So I've thanks for waiting. And so as we all know, we had to reboot the database after we fired the command for increasing the parameter open cursor. And you would also be encountering one more message related to process. So since I've already fired this command, you know um, and rebooted the database once earlier, so you're not seeing this. But whenever you're running this utility, if the processes and the open cursor parameter is not meeting the minimum requirement, right? Like say if it is 500, then you will be getting those messages. So you can just check them based on these, using these two commands, okay? And of course, when you need to modify the command, you have to give something like alter system, set processes, or open cursors, depending on whichever you are modifying, and then you would fire this command. And yeah, now you are able to see after this command, I think this is where we were getting that error message before. So now we don't see that. So we are good. So now you just give the password for all the schema. Okay. Ideally, in production, you normally don't give the same one, but since this is just for our demo, I think we are good to use the same password. Okay. So yeah, I think I've just given this. And if you want to specify different passwords, you can actually give them, or else, you can just based on the commands or based on the screen, instructions in the screen, you can just give them. Okay, so I just click next here. So now it's going to basically create the table space here. Okay, yeah, so you can just select next here. Any table spaces that do not already exist in the selected schemas will be created. Click OK to create the table spaces, or cancel to cancel the wizard. Okay, so I will just click on, just go back next. Just wanted to verify if the password that I've given is the one that I'm supposed to be using it. Okay, because I'm not making a note here. So just to verify that I'm giving the password correctly. Yeah, all right. So I just go back and then I'm just clicking next here. Click OK. So now it is basically creating the, or validating and creating the table spaces here. It's very quick, so it's done. And now it just gives a summary of this, whatever we are as I mentioned, since we are primarily focusing on Oracle Internet Directory and Identity Federation, I'm just clicking on create button here. Okay, so it should not take much longer, but we may not know. So let me just pause the screen for a while, pause the recording for a while, and once we are once this step is complete, I will just resume the video. Okay, resume the recording. All right, thanks, guys. So I think we are good with this, installation, or probably this repository creation utility step. Okay, so it has just taken around 2 minutes and 31 seconds, and it just shows the status as success. So I think we would be quickly validating this, and then we can proceed with our next steps, like the WebLogic installation and other steps. All right. Talk to you soon in my other video, guys. Thanks a lot for patiently listening to this.